What is up, Sooner Nation? Surgeaholics, thanks for joining us tonight. Back at it this evening. Hunter's joining us. Appreciate you guys yesterday. Sorry we missed the night, but we are back at it with some news tonight, man. We got some news. We got softball win 7-0. Hunter, we have the big news from the day. Really, the opening game got moved to Friday night, which is Friday Night Lights. Gotta love that. So a lot of things to talk about. Baseball's winning right now. So, Hunter, let's get started, man. What's been going on?
Yeah, Friday Night Lights. Hopefully OU.
Are you a fan of that?
I'm all for it. I hope OU lets out class for that Friday to make it a little better. But yeah, that's a great move. It gets you on prime time on ESPN and out of the August heat. Either 11 a.m. last year, it was brutal. The year before, I think it was a 2:30 for that UTEP game. I mean, the stretchers were all over the place. So great to have a Friday night game. Something that doesn't happen a lot at Oklahoma. I believe they said 16th time ever. First time it's a night game on a Friday, and first time they played on a Friday to open the season.
Yeah, and Bobby, I know it was not me. I was probably dead last. We need to look that up and see who it was.
I'm looking right now. I'll look right now.
It wasn't me.
I'm pretty sure it's Bobby.
I think it's Bobby too. He was leading, I thought. So,
yeah, I don't even want to talk about where I finished.
Hunter.
Long Beach State.
Hunter, people are telling you it's still going to be hot. I mean, August 25th, whatever the day is, I don't know.
It's August 30th. It's still going to be hot, but there's a difference in 6 p.m. heat and 11 to 3 o'clock heat.
I love it.
It's going to cool down quite a bit once the sun goes down. I think it'll be a fun environment. A Friday night game. I mean, you have the buzz. It's the first time going to see, maybe they have it in the spring game, see that SEC paint on the field. I mean, it's just going to be a fun night at Gaylord Family Oklahoma Memorial Stadium.
Yeah, thanks, Jody. Appreciate that so much. Watching from Silver City, New Mexico. Appreciate that. Hey, Hunter, the thing is, I love the Friday night for one game for the Labor Day. Here's the only problem I have with the Sooner fan kind of already hit about it with the businesses. I think unless you close, unless a lot of people get the day off, the tailgating is going to not be great.
I think a lot of people, it's Labor Day weekend. I mean, I know a good amount of people, some people get that day off.
A lot of people.
Also far enough. Yeah, you're right on that. But it's far enough in advance. You can take off for that day. I mean, seriously, I think if people want to be there, they're going to be there.
Yeah, I like it for one game and for it be the opening holiday game. That's fine. I don't want to do it all the time. I don't like
and I don't think they will do it all the time. I mean, they're not moving it middle of September, a random weekend in October to a Friday night.
Yeah. Did I see that George Story put something out that SEC probably went to OU and said you're either going to be 11 a.m. so we can move it to Friday night?
Yes, that was what was pretty much said. George was first on it. And then,
here's the problem with it is this. The problem with it is if anybody has kids or anything in high school activities. Now, I know a lot of schools do play on Thursday night that week because it's Labor Day weekend, but a lot of them still play on Friday night. So that kind of
not nearly as many play on the Friday night. And also, I mean, at least for me in high school, we never had school that Friday before Labor Day.
Oh, really? Some schools let out. Hey, Sooner Legends. That place is some of the best barbecue I've ever had. It's so good. That's awesome that you got to eat that. Hey, so Hunter, it's Tuesday night. We got now that the opening game's going to be Friday. Love it. We got tomorrow's a big day, Hunter. Couple commits are happening tomorrow. You got Malik Hawkins and Trent Wilson, correct? Commitment days.
That appears to be the case. Sorry, OU baseball just gave up a grand slam. So 11-9, 2 outs on the top of the ninth for the.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yep. Commitment day tomorrow. things are looking good. I think they'll land both of them, and that'd be huge. I mean, what did you think today when you saw Bear Alexander hit the portal? First, two thoughts. I want you to answer. Two questions. What did you think just of him in the portal again at this time? I think the timing's interesting. And the other one is OU a player at all in that?
I mean, I wouldn't imagine OU being a player.
Why?
I mean, just as of right now. Do you think OU is going to pay Bear Alexander money? I don't. The other thing is, Bear Alexander, I believe I saw on Twitter, don't remember who said it. It's going to be his 7th team in 7 years. He went to 4 different high schools. This is going to be his 3rd college. It's going to be interesting with him. I see people saying, Greg Odd saying Texas, very much. That could be the case. I mean, maybe Alabama. They've been pretty aggressive as of late in the portal to be able to get Caden Proctor back to Tuscaloosa. So, or maybe even Georgia. Who knows? Maybe he goes back. The whole thing, him going to USC, was odd to begin with. I didn't get it. Did not seem like a move you would want to make when you're projected to be a first-round pick to go play for Alex Grinch and Lincoln Riley in Southern California. But, hey, maybe that apartment says otherwise.
What about Eli Drinkwitz, Missouri?
Who knows, man? Maybe Ole Miss. I mean, those schools.
I mean, Ole Miss is another one.
They toss around the bags.
Bear Alexander and Walter Nolan in the middle.
That'd be just insane. I mean, that's really good defensive line. And, I mean, Ole Miss seems to be going all in this year. First year of the expanded playoff. They've attacked the portal. I think Lane Kiffin's putting together a really good squad.
What would you answer to this? Colin put, you have the power to put any restaurant in Owen Field as a concession option. What are you choosing? First off, you got to put an asterisk by there because it's going to have to be a fast food option. So if I had to pick myself personally for a fast food, I'd probably go Shake Shack.
Oh, I am not a Shake Shack fan.
Whoa, seriously?
Yeah, no.
Oh, give me Shake Shack all day long.
You know what I want in there?
Yeah.
Quick Trip Kitchens. They're moving to the 405. Man, chicken bacon ranch, grilled cheese, some taquitos. That would be great.
Arby's?
Great.
Wait, we're talking about Arby's here? Are we kidding? You're kidding me, guys.
Are you not an Arby's fan, Jay?
I don't eat Arby's. I don't eat it at all.
Wahlburgers.
Probably in 10 years.
Whataburger would be really good.
What do you think of this? What do you think of this? Do you think Jaden Jackson could start day one?
I mean, I think it's a 50-50 shot.
So you think he would start over David Stone?
He's bigger. He's bigger right now. From what everyone has said, any player that you see, I mean, his name's just getting brought up so much. We'll see. April 20th, spring game, 11 days away.
Yeah, Bobby thinks he starts. I think he plays.
I think he plays. Yes, absolutely.
I think him and David Stone both play a lot, actually. I mean, right now, David Stone, you saw the thing the other day, he's almost at 300, 296. He will be 300 by fall. Mark it down. So,
yeah, I really hope there's updated weights for the spring game. Because you see the Stone, what he posted on Instagram. I believe that was 2 days ago now. See what was said about PJ, that he put on a good amount of weight. I mean, Jaden Jackson, you would imagine he's still putting on some weight. Grayson Holton as well. So would like to see it updated just to kind of get a feel of where that defensive line room is at.
Hey, Mess says David Stone and Jaden Jackson play different positions. I understand that. But what I'm saying is, would they play next to each other is what I was saying. If Jackson and Halton are the starters, what's going on with Terry, you think?
I mean, I find it hard to believe that DeJounte Terry is not starting at least this year. I mean, what's he at right now? I mean, the last weight, I think it was like 330 for him. SEC experience. It's year 2 for him now in the system. A winter and a spring because he was a late transfer from Tennessee for the Sooners a year ago. So, I find it hard to imagine him not playing quite a bit.
I know they play different positions. That's not what I'm saying. I was saying, so if they play a 3-down lineman, I think people are saying it'd be Jackson in the middle.
Again, I think
they're going to play a lot of 3-down.
I do now. Jaden Jackson will get some run in that 3-down set, like what you're talking about. I don't see him being. I don't see him being the first one to go out there at nose tackle over DeJounte Terry. We'll see.
We'll see. I mean,
April 20th, 11 days away. So
I don't think that'll tell you a whole lot, though, to you.
No, it probably won't. It probably won't. I just want to see it. I mean, you hear so much throughout spring practice. There's some things you just want to be able to see it with your own eyes in that scrimmage. See if it's kind of getting backed up or if it's just a little bit of the spring hype that always comes around.
I'm with you, Micah. I am with you. So stoked for it.
It's 11 days away, but looking at the weather, it's not looking good right now. There's still some time for it to change, but
is it looking cold?
It's looking like thunderstorms.
Well, I mean, thunderstorms.
You can't play in that. Lightning.
Okay, here Cracker Mac says Downs, Jackson, Halton, and R. Mason. Now listen. So in that scenario, what you're saying is Stone is where Halton is. So I guess I'm just to me, Jackson and Halton are those positions not interchangeable? They're both interior, right?
I mean, I think if you're going a 4 down, it's pretty much interchangeable between the two of them.
Yeah.
I mean, where it gets to be a kind of not that way is if you're going a 3-down set, which
that's where it gets interesting. Is when
I think you would imagine that is something that's happening fairly often, at least for Oklahoma in 24. And I think if they do that, you're going to see like a lot of rotation, particularly in the middle there, from really all 4 of those names that people have been talking about.
Yeah, thanks, Teresa. We really appreciate that. Hit the like. It does mean a lot, and it does help the channel big time. Hey, Bobby. Bobby says Woolard starts. And that's what's so fun about this. We're April 9th, and we can all say who we think is going to start. None of us really know. Nobody knows because it's only April 9th. We got all the way till August 30th. That's a long time for things to change. So, and whoever starts for the spring game, whoever number 1 is right now doesn't mean they're going to be number 1 by then. But I will say this. I do think Woolard's going to play a lot. Now, whether he starts, I don't know. We'll see. And Sooner fan says he'll say it again. Halton is too small.
I thought Halton's putting on weight. Again, I think he kind of just, from what I saw from him last year, just that motor. I mean, you see him on special teams. He's a big guy, even if you're calling him small. And he's given all the effort he has to try to block a punt. It's not something you see often. I thought he made the most of his opportunities when he got in last year. And again, it's another offseason in the weight room for him. I think Oklahoma is in a good spot there in that room, especially. I mean, so far right now you have Stone supposedly at 296. Jackson at the last update, I think it was 295. Like that's pretty close to that magic number that everyone's been wanting.
Yeah, they're both going to be over 300. And I mean, for these guys are 19. I mean, are you kidding me? That's insane. And I think a lot of Sooner fans are going to be disappointed if opening night on Friday Night Lights that if there's not a ton of pressure in the backfield that game, because I'm sorry, the hype is being built big time. And I know, and they are, a lot of them are, they're really high recruited, the 24 class. And you have guys like Halton and DeJohn Terry, PJ, R. Mason, Downs. I mean, if the defensive line does not just thoroughly dominate first game, I think there will be a lot of Sooner fans be like, what? Can you imagine?
Last year, a lot of people gave it some slack. I think if it happens again, year 2, it's sky is falling type of situation. You're playing Temple.
That's what I'm saying.
Pressure. I mean, you have to get pressure. The room is expected to be so much further along than a year ago, with a lot more depth and rotational pieces. There, you got to be able to get sacks.
Well,
you got to be able to get those quarterback hits. You got to be able to put your secondary in a position to be successful.
Yeah, and the thing is, we ourselves and everybody have talked about the trenches. And what have we been saying? And almost all Sooner fans have been saying that OU has missed. What have they missed the last 5-10 years? They haven't had an interior defensive line. They just haven't. Blah 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 blah. That's all everyone says. Now that they feel like they got these guys, the run game up the middle. I mean, they ought to be plugging that thing up, right? And that's how you win championships, right there. And that's how you take your defense from whatever they were ranked last year up 30 more spots. Here's the thing. They were getting a ton of tackles losses that they have in the first 2 years under Britt Venables. But then they've allowed some gashes and some big plays. So I think if you kind of tighten that up and you put that with all the tackle for losses and then maybe add some sacks, a lot more sacks than they begin, Stevens is going to be elite.
The sacks is the biggest thing. You got to get sacks. You got to get quarterback hits. I mean, tackles for a loss, yeah, they matter. Oklahoma was really pretty good at that, but you're not sacking the quarterback. You're not getting that pressure that you need to get there. It's year 3 under Venables, year 3 under Todd Bates, Miguel Chavis. I mean, it's at this point, I feel like it's inexcusable if you don't.
Yeah, I see that, DeLu. Hey, Bobby says, so Jay, what's the vibe in Arkansas about Cal to the Razorbacks? Let me say this. The Arkansas fans always would bash John Calipari. As soon as they found out he's coming, it's like, now I'll say this. I know a few of them that they're not happy with it. They think they're just going to lose in the first round of the NCAA tournament. I think a lot of them think they're going to win a championship in 3 to 4 years. And let me say this. I believe John Calipari, I think he will win a national championship at Arkansas in less than 5 years.
I don't know about that.
Hunter, I think you're dead wrong on this. Listen, what he's done. Hey, wait. I know he hasn't won but one championship at Kentucky, and he's had great players. But I also think he's kind of, since he signed his lifetime contract, I don't think he's really had as much maybe drive, maybe. I think he has drive. He has NIL backing, and he is going to – I think he's going to – I think he's a really good hire for Arkansas, personally.
I think Calipari will have more success when you're seeing less fifth-year seniors. I mean, that should be going away for the most part, especially the 6 years. I also think he needs to use the transfer portal some. He can recruit pretty much better than anyone. Landed all those McDonald's All-Americans. It's just 3 straight years of very just unacceptable March Madness exits for a program like Kentucky. So maybe the change of scenery is what they needed. Have you seen some of the Kentucky fans, though? I saw Ray God saying Scott Drew to Arkansas, but Scott Drew to Kentucky. Do you see how upset some of those fans were on those message boards?
Yeah, I know.
That's crazy.
They're throwing everything at Danny Hurley. Danny Hurley's not going to go there. And
it's smart. It's smart. He's the best coach in college basketball. Throw some money at him.
Yeah.
If money can lure him away.
Arkansas's kind of, I don't want to say rubbing it, but throwing it in Musselman's face, because Musselman, I don't think, was happy with some things with the NIL. And I think Arkansas is like, okay, here you go, Calipari. We'll back you big time. And I just think, I think he's going to come to Arkansas and he's going to win. And like somebody said, right off in the sunset, he leaves Kentucky and goes to a place that's a winning basketball program, but he has way less pressure.
That is true.
And I saw a report out that he asked for Kentucky to kind of match it, and they said no.
Did you watch his video today?
Yeah, his wife put one out too.
Oh, really? I didn't see the one from his wife, but
Bobby, you're right on this. I think it's a great move for Musselman too at USC. That's kind of where he likes to be, and on the West Coast. So I think I think Calipari to Arkansas is good for Kentucky, and it's good for Arkansas. So
the biggest thing is, like, does this start a coaching carousel? I mean, if they were to hire, say,
100%.
well, it depends on who Kentucky hires. I mean, if they go hire Billy Donovan, I mean, that pretty much just puts a pin in the coffin. I mean, that's about all it is. There's not going to be other coaches leaving. But if it's a Scott Drew to Baylor, then Baylor spot is open, and then who goes there? Who fills in for? I mean, it could just go on and on and on and on.
Yeah. And Jimmy says we're stuck with Moser. And somebody mentioned the guy from Indiana State transferring. Does OU go after him? Hunter, we had a long chat today in the text thread.
Yeah.
And I bashed you and Jeremy about this because y'all are saying go after him. I like the guy too. But that's the same guy that y'all have basically bashed Moser for getting.
I disagree.
No, it's not.
He's a lot better, a lot more athletic.
Hunter, it's no different than going and getting the Groves brothers.
I think it's.
I know he's better, but
it's insulting to compare him
to Oklahoma. It hasn't worked out.
It's insulting to compare him to the Groves brothers. Honestly,
Hunter, he's not a center.
He's 6'10".
He doesn't play center. Have you watched him?
I mean, he fits OU's play style. They run a lot of pick and pop or pick and roll. He's really good at that. Can spread the floor, shoot the three, because Oklahoma had opportunities for that. They just didn't really have anyone other than Luke Norweather that could shoot the three. Hughley could till the injury. So,
a couple of things on softball, and then I want to get at Mess's question. First off, softball. I'll tell you what I thought about tonight, the game. I thought they jumped out early, and then it was kind of like, okay, this game's over. Let's kind of cruise. And I will say this. I'm still disappointed that Kirsten Deal didn't get to start versus Texas. Okay? I thought she should have started a game against Texas. She's been one of the hotter pitchers on the team. She didn't start against Texas. She comes out today. I know it's Wichita State, but she does well. 5 in the third inning, 9 strikeouts. Okay? Yeah. So let's start when they play the big teams. I'd like to see her out there because she might have the best stuff on the team. Hunter? Hey, thanks, Mike. We appreciate that. Thank you very much, Mike.
Appreciate it, Mike. It's hard to argue against that, Jay. Kirsten Deal, I thought she's been really good. Kelly Maxwell has really gotten to a rhythm, but, I mean, before the Deal was looking like the best pitcher on the team, had a long stretch of scoreless innings. So, yeah, Jimmy says that pitching wasn't the issue against Texas. Like, I don't think Kirsten Deal. I don't think she shuts out Texas. I don't. I think Texas, they're second in the country in batting average. They had a great weekend. I mean, they got the Oklahoma pitching staff only 2 runs, but that's all they needed. They were able to put runs on the board. I think they were going to put runs on the board regardless of who's in the circle for Oklahoma. Pitching wasn't the issue down in Austin, Texas.
And unfortunately, I think OU could sleepwalk through a lot of the rest of the games this year other than the OSU series. I mean, I just think they're so much better than the other teams. I hope that isn't the case.
If they start sleepwalking, there's a lot of cause for concern.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to treat it. I feel like they have to treat it like it's every single game is a game in Oklahoma City. I mean, it's not, but just to be able to make that history, win the 4th in a row, you got to have that approach. It's interesting. The bats, I mean, you alluded to it. It started off really hot, and then just slowed down. No runs after, I think, second inning.
Yeah. And hey, Mez, I see your question here about football. Here's the deal. Bauer Sharp and Deion Burks. Seems like they are tearing up camp. And I think Deion Burks, when he transferred in, a lot of people thought that's what would happen. I do think Bauer Sharp is a little bit of a surprise for people just because where he came from. Now, I'm not saying you, Hunter. I'm saying a lot of fans thought, okay, they got Bauer Sharp, woo-woo. But he is extremely athletic. I think, I mean, I would beg to say that for an athletic tight end, I mean, he is one of the most athletic they've had in a while.
It's been a bit.
Braden Willis was athletic, but he was also a bruiser. I think Bauer Sharp, for catching purposes and all that, is just he's an athletic dude. And I think he's an unbelievable year.
He was the Wildcat at Southeastern Louisiana, played quarterback in high school, played a little bit of Wildcat quarterback there. Just one of those players that fell through the cracks in the recruiting process and the wildness of his high school career, everything that was going on that was just out of his control, and ends up at a small school, and now the opportunity to play in the SEC. I mean, I'm, for one, not shocked at all. Am a little shocked with how quick the buzz happened, but I'm not shocked to hear how athletic he is, because if you watched any of the tape, you see it. You see that he has the tools, 6'5", about 250, and pretty quick for his size.
Yeah, and that's a good point, Bobby. Guys that have gotten lost in the shuffle with all that. That's a good point. Caden Helms, I would love to see Caden Helms get some action. I really would. I think that would be unbelievable. Matt says Teddy Lehman on KREF today, or said that Bauer Sharp is leading the team vocally and on the field. He's different. He kind of seems like that dude that would just come in and be like I think the word I would use, just from what I've seen on videos and stuff, polarizing. I think he's kind of got that polarizing personality. Like maybe people just flock to him, right? So I could see that in him and Arnold. Maybe they have a great connection, which would be great for Oklahoma. Hunter, let's get to trivia. I got a trivia question tonight, and this is going to be an interesting one. So the first thing that came to my mind, I don't know why it came to my mind, but before I ask this question, go to Fanstop, fanstop.com. Go check them out. Look at this shirt I got on right here. It's an April shirt. It's an awesome shirt. Go check them out. Shirt of the Month Club. Use code Surge. You'll get 10% off your first 3 months. Great shirt. So go check it out. First thing that came to my mind when the Friday Night Lights hit was the fact that just a second, Mark, and I'll answer that. Back in the day, after OU won their national championship, they opened up this season on a night game. It was not a Friday. It was a Saturday, but it was against North Carolina. I know a lot of the viewers probably remember this game. But the trivia question is this. For North Carolina, they had a guy that was drafted number 2 overall the next year. Who was this player that was drafted number 2 overall from North Carolina that OU played in 2001?
Man, North Carolina might have another top draft pick in just over 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's right. Bobby already got it. Julius Peppers. That was quick. I knew it'd be quick. Good job, Bobby. That game, remember the hype for that game, everybody. Right after coming off the national championship, Nate Hibble getting the start, and OU just tore him up in the first quarter. It was like 24-0, 3 or 4 fumble recoveries. Mark says people don't flock to polarizing. I'm confused. Oh, I do think people flock to polarizing. Hunter, do you?
I mean, I thought so, but
I mean, I understand what you're saying. If you're saying polarizing in a way that's like people don't like to go to it, but like I would consider Baker Mayfield a polarizing character. And I thought players flocked to him, right? I mean, that when I think of polarizing, that's what I have. I mean, maybe I'm not using.
I think
he'd probably say I'm not using the correct English term, but
I think there's two sides to it. But I mean, there's obviously a positive and a negative to it.
Mark says charismatic, yes, not polarizing. Maybe I'm using the term wrong, Mark. I mean, I can admit that. I'm not an English major like Jeremy. He would probably call me out if he was on here. Yeah, Kansas love Baker, don't they? They didn't like that polarizing character. Yeah, Sooner fan, I get it. That's funny. Not a sheep, so I don't really bow or sharp though. Let me hit you with that one. You like that, Hunter?
No, please don't do that again. That was pretty bad. I was trying to find who said it. Somebody was asking about BYU softball, so I thought I would drop a little bit of that.
Because they can't play on Sunday?
No, just asking how they are as a team. They're 21-17, 331 team batting average. A little bit of pop, not too much. 37 home runs on the year. Pitching wise, not a great staff. 4.94 team ERA. Oklahoma really needs to attack that early in that series.
Ron, sounds like you need to get your lawnmower checked out before the season starts. Too bad Okie Lawn Guy's not on here to talk about that.
Yeah.
Where's Okie Lawn Guy?
Man, missing it.
Yeah, missing it out. Okay, Hunter, let's talk a little bit about the two guys tomorrow that are committing, that we think are committing to Oklahoma. Malik Hawkins, obviously, the talk right now has been about his brother, Michael. But Malik Hawkins, and then also Trent Wilson. Gregon, yeah, that's funny, Gregon, yes. Trent Wilson, defensive lineman, 4-star. Both things seem to be headed like that's going to be OU tomorrow.
Yeah, those two additions would put Oklahoma. They're staying put in the rankings. USC has leapfrogged them, so they'll be narrowly behind USC by about 4 points in that ranking, but for 247 composite. But yeah, Malik Hawkins, really talented corner defensive back from Frisco Emerson. And then Trent Wilson, just 4-star defensive lineman that to be able to really steal them away from the East Coast.
Yeah, stealing from Penn State, it sounds like. Tyler, this is a great point. Tight end was Georgia's offense last year. That's how big it can impact the Kavanaugh game. Right.
If you look at the best Oklahoma teams over, I mean, really, you can go back a long time. There's been a really good tight end on pretty much every single one of those teams.
But you know what? I would say, even going back to the good tight ends OU's had, to me, there's only been one that I would say is a true NFL type tight end, and that was Mark Andrews.
Jermaine Grisham.
Well, going all the way back to Gresham. I'm saying recently.
I mean, that was at the bare minimum of what you're going back to. I mean, Grant Calcaterra was really good before he got hurt. That's more of a recent guy. You can go all the way back to.
You could say Calcaterra. I mean, Gresham, I wasn't going to go back as far as Gresham. But
I was. That's what I was getting at. Like, I mean.
That's a long time ago.
It's not that long, Jay.
I was more talking Lincoln Riley years on.
Okay.
He used him as H-backs more than he did tight ends.
What?
He used him as H-backs more than he did tight ends.
Grant Calcaterra was a true tight end.
I know, but I still think Lincoln Riley didn't use him traditionally as a lot that he could have. That's just me.
I mean, Calcaterra got the ball quite a bit, I thought.
Yeah, but like Braden Willis, I mean, when he was there, he could have been used a lot more as tight end.
Well, he really wasn't the number one option when Lincoln.
It was Jeremiah Hall. That's what I'm saying.
Well, at tight end when Lincoln was there, he wasn't the number one option. Stogner was.
Yeah, I know, but
I mean, Willis's really big year was 2022 under Jeff Lebby and Brent Venables.
You're talking Steven Alexander. I know Willis's senior year is the reason he got drafted, yes. But even that, though, I think a lot of it, I mean, he did catch touchdowns and catch balls, but a lot of it uses blocking. I mean, I think what Bauer Sharp is going to do is it's going to be the most offensive tight end they've had since Mark Andrews.
I wouldn't go that far back.
Who name another tight end, Hunter?
Grant Calcaterra.
Oh, he's going to put up more than Grant Calcaterra.
I mean, pull up the numbers.
Pull up Grant Calcaterra's stats. I promise you, I bet Bauer Sharp gets more than that.
Let's see. I think you're going to be wrong on this one.
I don't think I'm going to be wrong on this one. And I disagree with this, Ron. I mean, on certain occasions, maybe if they played a double set, but I think Bauer Sharp's going to be going down the field to catch passes, and I think that's
Calcaterra's best season was 2018, sophomore year. 26 receptions, 396, 6 touchdowns.
I can promise you, I don't want to do absolutes, but Bauer Sharp will have more than 26 catches.
I think if he has more yards, it's only going to be by a few.
How many yards does Calc have here?
396.
Oh, my gosh.
I would imagine Sharp to be 400, 450, if that.
I think this is my hot take of the night. I know it's Tuesday. It's a hot take night. I think Bauer Sharp's going to have over 600 yards receiving.
600 yards?
Yes.
So it's Jackson Arnold setting the single season passing record. Like,
no,
I mean, honestly, I don't think
Hunter, that's only like 50 yards a game.
Okay. Again, I don't think a tight end at Oklahoma is having 600 yards.
Hunter, it's a different offense, man. Seth Luttrell will use the tight end. I honestly don't think that's a stretch, 600 yards. I think it can happen. Because I also think he will catch balls down the field, not just little screen passes.
I mean, I get that, but I still don't think he gets 600 yards.
We'll see. I mean, hey, I may be wrong. I'm just saying what I feel. So that's what I think could happen. So I think he's that good too. I think he is really good at catching the ball and really good at route running and really athletic. So we'll see. Mess agrees with me. 600 yards. Gray got his 450-yard range. I think that's kind of what you were saying, Hunter. About
I was saying 400, 450. I think, again, and it's no, like, really disrespect to the tight end. I think it's really good this year. I think they are going to use kind of multiple. I think you're going to see some other guys get a little bit of run, that kind of play into it. And then just, I mean, look at how deep that wide receiver room is. I mean, the ball can only be spread around so much.
Mm-hmm.
Is the H-back going to be back? Who knows? I think the halfbacks are going to catch a little bit of balls. I mean, Salchuk maybe a little bit out of the backfield, maybe even Sam Franklin or Javonte Barnes there, Caleb Hicks. I mean, there's just so many weapons offensively that I think 600 is a lot to ask for.
Hey, this is a great question, by the way, Anthony. I love this question. Thanks for joining us tonight. Has Hunter been to every OU athletic team game or meet? And if yes, who has best fans? From what you've been to, Hunter, what would you say?
I mean, football.
Other than football.
Other than football, I haven't been to softball in venue this year.
Have you been? You've been to wrestling?
Yeah, I've been to wrestling. I would say
gymnastics.
Women's gym of the ones I've been to this year, they take it. Senior day against Alabama was on ESPN. It was a great crowd. I think they said like 9,000 people there. So yeah, that's going to be mine for this year so far. Baseball's had a few decent crowds. Volleyball's had some too. Wrestling had a little bit of a rowdy crowd one of the nights I was there. So
yeah, Ron thought it'd be men's basketball, Hunter.
Hey, I will say men's basketball against Houston is up there. I mean, the LNC was rocking when OU went on that run. They tied it up and then lost on that buzzer beater.
Are the stuff we're starting to hear out of spring and how does some of these guys, like we've been talking about Bauer Sharp a lot tonight. We talked about Jaden Jackson, David Stone, a lot of these newcomers, Deion Burks, all these guys we're talking about that we're, quote, hearing are having great camps. All that's doing, I think, to OU fans is really raising the expectations, correct? I mean, look at me. I'm throwing a stat out there, 600 yards now for Broward Sharp. And that's what it does to us OU fans is it's okay, now the spring game coming, we'll see what happens, see what they look like. But then you have from the spring game to August 30th, you're going to have more buildup of guys that maybe like Gavin Freeman looks amazing. But guys, all of this to me, and I'm going to say this again, I say it all the time. None of this in between now and August 30th mean diddly squat. None of it. Until August 30th, if you go out there and don't just purely destroy and look like you're wanting to just dominate a team, then I think all of this really is as Jeremy would quote, a moot point.
I agree with that. I think a lot of it is it's off season. You got to have something to talk about. Kind of a little bit back to the tight end discussion as I'm able to pull up the stats now. Stogner's season in 2020, he had 26 receptions for 422 with 3 touchdowns, Long at 41. And then Mark Andrews for 2015, he had 19 for 318, 7 touchdowns, 61-yarder, 31 for 489, 7 touchdowns, and then 62 for 958 and 8 touchdowns. I still am saying that 450 range for Broward Sharp. I think there's just so many more guys on the field this year to where the ball's getting spread around a little bit more.
Yeah, and I think the ball will be spread out a lot. And, I mean, heck, look at the catches we've seen. Seems like Gibson has made it this spring, right? Jet, that's correct. That's 100% correct, always. And it's not just OU. It's every team that's practicing right now. Go look at the videos Jeff Levy's putting out for Hill State, Mississippi State, and you think they're going to win a natty. I mean, that's what these videos do. That's what they are made to do, all right?
Well, Brandon Walker thinks they're going to win a natty.
I don't care what Brandon Walker thinks.
Yeah.
And I agree with this, Greg. God, I do. I think Mitchell. Here's the thing, I go back to Adrian Peterson when he played OU. To me, there's only one thing that keeps freshmen off the field, and it's most of the time they're not ready physically. Okay. Usually, if they're physical enough, they're going to play. And I think Mitchell's a guy that he's ready physically, I think, to play. So I think he's going to play. I would agree with that, Greg God, because it's not a guy that you're going to have to, he needs to put on some weight he needs to, but he's already came in pretty good shape. So
yeah,
I think he's in his favor.
He's supposed to be junior year of high school right now.
Yeah.
And he looks like an SEC tight end really since the day he got on campus. I think he's over 250 right now. But that tight end room, there's names that somebody mentioned Helms a little bit. That's a name that's been talked about a lot if he can get healthy. You also have Cade McIntyre. He looked really good last year in the very limited times he got on the field. They also brought in Jake Roberts. So, that's 5 guys in that tight end room.
Yeah, and I'm getting excited just sitting here talking about the tight ends and maybe what they could do with matchups. You know what I mean? Because you also got guys sitting on the outside with Jaden Gibson and Nick Anderson that are a matchup nightmare as well. So that gives you another 2 really big receivers. Thoughts on Joshua Familia? I think
that's another name I didn't mention. I probably should have.
Here's my thoughts on him. I think he could get some playing time. I don't think he's not. And he started late in his career. So he's not as talented as the guys that we've mentioned. I do think, though. I don't know how much he'll really play, Hunter. Do you?
He played in 6 games last year. I think that,
but mainly for blocking.
Yeah. And again, it depends on. I think everyone thinks Mark said it, tight ends sweep or screens.
No.
Hey, a tight end screen honestly might not be the worst thing. I know he's joking there, but the tight end room is going to be a lot different. Their use is going to be very different than it was the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So what's it going to be? Maybe we'll see some of that.
Well, Hunter, all you have to do is go back to Mike Leach when he used tight ends, because that is the tree that Seth Luttrell comes from, right? So I think you will see it'll be a mix. He's got his own stuff, but I'm just saying, like, they're going to use tight end to catch the ball down the field. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's also when you look at. I mean, it seems like every single night. I'm shocked we haven't had it happen tonight. The wide receiver room is brought up.
Yeah.
On what three are you going to put out there? I mean, if you're able to have that much talk about a single room, you kind of got to think that teams preparing for OU are kind of the same way. I mean, they're going to put three guys out there that are very hard to keep up with. I mean, the tight end sometimes could go unnoticed in either the middle of the field or in the seam. And Jackson Arnold finding those guys open. I mean, I think maybe yardage isn't there, but I do think there's a lot of receptions for that tight end.
Yeah, and as Mess says, and by the way, tight end drag, my favorite play I always run in Madden. What's up, brothers? Always run that in Madden.
Wow.
And did I do that right, brothers?
Not really, but I'm impressed with
your favorite play in Madden. I run that tight end drag.
I'm more impressed that you say you play Madden.
I don't anymore, but I used to.
What was the last Madden you played, Jay?
It would have been Madden, probably 22.
That recently? Are you going to play the new NCAA game?
I'll play it.
You will?
Yeah.
Man, you might need to buy your son a new PlayStation so he can get it.
Do you have to have a 5?
Yeah, it's going to be on the new ones only.
Yeah. Yeah, appreciate it, guys. Appreciate the chat tonight. Mark was never a Madden guy. 4 verticals, Jason. I hate the 4 verticals.
Hey, 4 verticals?
Sketch, bro. Sketch.
Hey, Gray God. He only knows it because we were talking about it right before we went live.
No, I've seen some stuff online.
Okay. You were asking me about it, but no, 4 verticals, stick and nod for the tight end, man. That route, just filthy
route. Hey, appreciate it, guys, as always, for joining us. Thanks to the Fan Stop. If you haven't checked them out, go check out fanstop.com. Use code SURGE, 10% off your first 3 months. Need a live stream? Hunter would kill me, but now if I want to do one against Jeremy, I could probably dominate Jeremy on that. That'd be pretty cool. Hey, also, if you guys appreciate if you hit the like button. It means a lot. Bradley, welcome, bud. Haven't seen you in a while. Thanks for joining. Yeah, Jeremy, he'll be back on tomorrow night. He'll be back for some fun. Hope you guys join us tomorrow night. Appreciate you guys as always. Good talk tonight. Good talk about the tight ends and everything that's going on. Friday Night Lights. Appreciate it. See you guys tomorrow. Boomer.